Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So I've got some infuriating news for you. Just be prepared to be very pissed off by the end of this show. The average billionaire pays less than 4% in federal taxes. That's what ProPublica found after they obtained a huge trove of tax records. And then they compared that and analyzed it against the data of the 25 wealthiest Americans. So ProPublica compared these tax records with information in Forbes magazine on the 25 richest Americans, whose wealth, by the way, increased by $401 billion between 2014 and 2018. So that's a collective total among those 25. Think about that time period too, what the rest of the country and the rest of the world was going through because of the mortgage meltdown, because of those mortgage-backed securities where these companies were just lying and giving them an A rating when they were not worth the paper they were printed on, and then everything collapsed around the world. So people were just recovering from that. And these people increased their wealth by over $400 billion. Now, over that same 5-year period of time, those same 25 uber wealthy people paid a total of $13.6 billion in federal taxes. Now, that may sound like a lot to us, as average Americans, but when you average that out, it comes out to an effective tax rate of only 3.4%. Here's some specifics about who these people are and how little they pay compared to average Americans. I'm not going to go through all 25, but these are some of the most egregious. Warren Buffett, he paid the least in taxes out of all of these people. Between 2014 and 2018, Buffett's wealth increased by $24.3 billion, out of which he paid $23.7 million in federal taxes. Again, for the rest of us, we hear, oh my God, almost $24 million in taxes. That's enormous. That's unbelievable. That equates to 0.1%, not 1%, 0.1% that he paid in federal tax. He paid less than 10 cents on every $100 that he added to his net worth. And Amazon founder, Jeff Bezos, who also is the owner of one of the biggest newspapers in the world, the Washington Post, he's a close second. We all know, I mean, it's been widely reported that Bezos has paid zero in federal taxes many years, despite being one of the wealthiest people on the planet. Well, according to Forbes, in 2007, which was one of these years in which he paid zero, he paid absolutely nothing to the federal government in taxes. In that year, his wealth increased by $3.8 billion. Now, his tax returns show a 2007 income of $46 million. And by the time I'm done with this, you'll understand that discrepancy. Just because his wealth increased doesn't mean that was income, or at least it's not taxable income, which is the main reason why they're getting away with so much. So he was able, out of that $46 million that he claimed as income, he was able to reduce and offset every single penny of his federal income with deductions and loopholes and BS. And when they reviewed Bezos's wealth to tax ratio over an extended period of time, it's unbelievably disturbing. It is so rage-inducing. They looked at 2006 to 2018. His wealth over that 12 years or so increased by $127 billion. However, he reported an income of $6.5 billion. Okay, so his taxable income was greatly reduced, yet he only paid $1.4 billion in taxes. So effectively, he paid 1.1% in federal taxes because people would say, oh, well, he only had 6.5 billion in income and he paid almost 1/5 of that in taxes. No, look at how much his wealth increased over that period of time. If you take his wealth of almost $130 billion, that's just the increase. That's not how much wealth he had. That's how much it increased over that period. And you figure out the taxes on that, 1.4 billion, it's effectively 1.1% in federal taxes. And get this, by the end of 2018, these same 25 wealthy people were worth a combined $1.1 trillion. That's the equivalent wealth, which they calculated out. I didn't do this math. That's the equivalent wealth of 14.3 million average Americans. That's how much wealth these 25 people hold. Yet in 2018, those 25 wealthy people paid a total of 1.9 billion in personal federal taxes, whereas those same 14.3 million average Americans paid $143 billion. This is why when lawmakers bitch and moan about increasing the tax rate on the wealthy, just know it's all a bunch of bullshit. And here's the thing. I don't have an issue with someone being wealthy. I don't have an issue with someone doing well for themselves, enjoying their lives, enjoying their wealth, but they're not earning this wealth. They're not going to a job and earning this money. They're investing in things that give them tax breaks and loopholes that allow them to become unbelievably wealthy without paying taxes on that money. And they're doing it while others are getting screwed over. That's the biggest issue. And until you get rid of all these tax loopholes and impose a true wealth tax on these top earners, such as these billionaires, these arguments are all a ruse to keep everyone distracted. All of this bitching and moaning they do, oh, should we make it 25%? Should we make it 30%? What should the base be? It's all a bunch of BS. They're not going to pay anywhere near that because the truly wealthy in this country, the Koch family, the Waltons, the Jeff Bezos of the world, Buffett, the Mercers, the bulk of their wealth does not come from the creation of a product or a job. So when they try to shove in your face this trickle-down economics BS, it's such a joke. When people say, oh, but these are the job creators, these are the job makers. No, absolutely untrue. It's the longest con ever perpetrated on the American people. They make the majority of their money investing in the stock market, which creates nothing. It creates no jobs for anyone. And they have assets, but those assets, like stocks, are not taxed until they're sold. So these people can build an unfathomable amount of wealth and never pay a dime in taxes. Then they die and they leave that stock portfolio to their children, and those children pay no taxes on that wealth. And in the meantime, they can borrow money against the value of that stock and they live off of it. That's what they found in this report. What they do is they take out loans and then they get to write off the interest that they pay on these loans. And they use those loans to increase their net worth in other ways. Because like I said, with Coke, you use it to buy property, especially rental property, that you then get to depreciate as an asset. And then that gives them more enormous tax breaks. And as we all know, because I did an entire show on this, the IRS refuses to audit these people. They don't have the funds, they don't have the manpower, so they don't audit the uber wealthy. So these people write off absurd things as business expenses because they know the IRS doesn't have the time, they don't have the financial resources or the manpower to audit them. Meanwhile, our national debt continues to grow, it keeps ticking up, and you and I get treated like the redheaded stepchild. They want to take away our Social Security and our Medicare, things that you and I have paid into our entire lives, all because they refuse to tax the wealthy. And God forbid we ask for any small crumb over and above that after paying our fair share of taxes, far more than what they pay. We're denied things that all or many other industrialized countries have and take for granted. Things like government-provided health insurance and a free college education, or a true social safety net like a universal basic income. And I don't want to hear the BS about, oh, socialist countries, oh my God, they're so horrible. Look at Venezuela. That's one freaking country that is totally corrupt. Why don't you talk about Japan? I have extended family in Japan. I have 2 girls that I took in who are from Japan. Their entire family is back there. I know exactly what their system of government is like. Their family gets the best health care you've ever seen, and they pay not a dime. Not a dime. Their grandfather has been in the hospital for months. He had repeated strokes. He has paid not one single dime. There's no stress on the family. He will walk out of there debt-free, and he gets the best care. They get government-paid college education over there. All we're doing with all of this stuff is suppressing our own economy. And this is all because the wealthy just are greedy bastards, and they refuse to pay the same percentage of taxes. I'm not talking dollar for dollar. Yes, of course, they pay more dollars than a teacher or a firefighter or a police officer or anyone, any average working person. But their percentage is obscenely low. The percentage that a teacher or a firefighter or a police officer pays out of their paycheck is far greater, multiple times greater than what these assholes pay. And the fact that establishment donor-owned shills in both parties, by the way, are blocking a wealth tax is unbelievable. It tells you everything you need to know about our country and our government. This is exactly why we need more true progressives in positions of power, not faux-gressives, not the ones who are still bought and paid for with corporate money. Real progressives who are the only ones in Congress that don't accept dirty and dark money, because these people are getting away with murder. Like I said, they take out these loans, they use their stock portfolio as leverage, they use it as collateral, and it's proven. I mean, some of them have admitted to it, that they use these massive stock portfolios, which can't be taxed until the money is taken out, until those stocks are sold. So if those stocks go up thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in value, none of that is taxed. So that's their collateral. They go to the bank, they say, I have billions or millions of dollars in stock. You can have it if I default on this loan. The bank says, okay, we'll give you a loan, Mr. Gates or, Mr. Bezos, for millions or billions of dollars against the value of that stock. And then they live off of that. And then they pay interest on that loan, which they get to write off on their taxes. And in the meantime, that loan is not taxable income. So they pay no taxes on that loan. They get to write off the interest that they're paying on that loan, and they're not paying taxes on the stock. It is the most rigged, corrupt system. So again, need to get more progressives in Congress, in positions of power all over the country where they can make a difference. Absolutely, if you are in Ohio, you need to go vote for Nina Turner. She is the only one with the ovaries to take on the establishment. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seems like a nice person, seems like she's honest and legitimate, but I just don't think she's old enough. I don't think she has what it takes to take them on and do what needs to be done. I think she's afraid of being hated. If I were in Congress, I wouldn't give a damn. They could all hate me. I would do what's right for you guys. That's who she is. That's who Nina Turner is. So if you're in Ohio, vote for her, get more progressives like her in Congress, get more people like her to run for Congress and other positions of power. And we can turn this around and we can take our country back and we can put real laws in place and stop pandering to all of these big money corporate interests and all of these freaking billionaires who buy them off, who buy off the politicians in DC. All right, guys, I will let you know if and when I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.